With a week of spring training games done, we will take a look at the state of the Dodger rotation. Two Chargers free agents could wind up being too expensive to keep, and the Rams' first-round draft strategy might be determined today. Good morning. I'm James, and this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is February 28, 2026. We are still in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Went to bed in a completely peaceful mood, woke up to war. It be a rainin' on the Iranians. Like the alt-rock legends REM once sang, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. And why do I feel fine? Because of LA sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Now, there were no games involving LA teams last night. Hope you got lucky. As for today, a pretty busy schedule. The Lakers are at Golden State at 5:30. The Lakers are on a 3-game losing streak. UCLA is at Mini Scrotum at 11 a.m. The Bruins are on a 2-game winning streak. They haven't yet assured themselves of an NCAA tournament bid. USC is at Nebraska at 1. The Trojans are on a 4-game losing streak. Not to be outdone, Calgary is at the Kings at 4, and the Kings are totally circling the drain. Losers of 5 in a row. Yahtzee. It is Galaxy Game Day. Charlotte's in town to face the Galaxy at 7:30. Midfielder Eric Thaumy is available to play tonight, and also Marco Royce extended his contract. LAFC is at Houston at 5:30. So with all of that out of the way, what do you say we get to the news? Yoshinobu Yamamoto finished his second spring training start out in Camelback Ranch, then headed to the airport to fly off to Japan. Oh, so emotional, all the hugs, all the tears. So, after Dave Roberts finished floating rose petals in a lagoon, he looked across the state of the Dodger pitching staff and dried his eyes. As well he should. Because it ain't full strength right now, but we should all be so lucky, because that staff is stacked like Alexandra Daddario. Roberts told the scribes that, Blake Snell, he hasn't ramped up enough to be ready for opening day. Matter of fact, another potential Dodger starter and a reliever, I might add, are all in the same boat. Bobby Miller and Brusdar Graterol both underwent shoulder surgery. It wiped out the 2025 season for them. But before any of us freak, again, when you look at the depth on this staff, when the scribes talk about it and pull it apart, it's all nitpicking. It's just like the idea of panicking because the Dodgers finally lost a spring training game yesterday. Why? Why would you do that and panic? So, there are plenty of positives. Roberts, for example, said he felt good about Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, and Roki Sasaki. You count Shohei Ohtani in there, and now you've got 4 of the 6 already knocked down. What about the 2 spots, though, until Snell is ready? The ideal plan, according to The Athletic, is that the Dodgers want Emmett Sheehan back in the roto. So then you're wondering after that, there are 2 guys who missed 2025 recovering from Tommy John surgery. That's going to be a competition. Gavin Stone pitched at a game for the first time since August 2024. 15 pitches, 11 strikes. And then there's River Ryan, who pitched a scoreless inning of relief. So yeah, you're sitting there looking at the guy's top and you're like, oh, that kind of makes things pucker up a little bit. But then you realize just how deep the Dodgers have it. And then you start worrying about international affairs and pretending you can control that too. Scribes who went to the NFL Combine aren't just there to get drunk and watch dudes run a 40-yard dash. With all of those front office types out there, people start to get a little chatty and you start learning little factoids dropping. One thing that we have learned is that the asking price for Chargers free agent guard Zion Johnson is rising. And it's because the other teams are willing to pay. And this is despite the fact that he is super sketchy in pass blocking. 2 consecutive playoff games for the guy, and the dude could never figure out that defensive linemen run stunts. And yet, despite that, I mean, he's terrific blocking for running plays, right? But the chatter is opposing teams could offer as much as $20 million. $20 million. Now, if you're a Bolts fan and you just spit up your drink, I totally understand. And I would also understand if the Bolts were like, you know what, we could totally replace that for cheaper. The problem is, if you let Johnson walk, and I wouldn't clown the Chargers necessarily if they did. Brad Bozeman already retired. They've been talking about cutting Mekhi Becton. Now you're talking about replacing all 3 of your interior offensive linemen. That's a lot. That is a lot. And don't even get me started on the possibilities for Odafe Owe, because guard is not considered a premium position. Edge rusher is. So Owe, if Johnson is thinking, hey, I might make $20 million, imagine what Owe's thinking. So where does that leave the Bolts' war room? Well, all I can tell you is to speak in generalities. I would not even remotely consider spending a first-round draft pick on a guard. But if the plan is the Chargers draft an edge rusher in the first and then have him be the third guy to learn under Tui Tuipulotu and Khalil Mack, that would make a lot of sense. That absolutely would make a lot of sense. And if you're a Charger fan, feel free to let me know what you think in the comments thread. Mock drafts are flaming garbage. We've been saying that for years. And one of the reasons is that the purveyors of said garbage have no idea how teams operate. Especially the Rams, who have 2 first-rounders and 10 picks overall. So many options, and nobody who puts together these fanciful lists have any idea what the Rams would do. They don't take into account, for example, that general manager Les Snead looks at late first rounders and thinks it may as well be in the second round. It's one of the reasons why the Rams traded their first round pick last year to go to the second round. They got a first rounder in this draft for it. Moreover, Snead has never drafted a corner in the first round. So what do these mock drafts say? The Rams are going to take a corner early. They never have. And what about the second first round pick? We know from watching the Rams, they often traded away. These guys don't even think about that possibility. They're like, they'll take a guard? Huh? We've been saying for months that the Rams eventually have to locate Matthew Stafford's successor. Now, it's not going to be Fernando Mendoza. He appears to have the key to Tom Brady's luxury suite at the Bellagio already. So that brings us to Alabama's Ty Simpson, who is the consensus next best quarterback in an otherwise weak draft class. Simpson's working out at the Combine today. We know he's also interviewed with Arizona, the Jets, and Pittsburgh. The Cards, after the Raiders, have picks 2 and 3. If Simpson falls past them both, the dude could fall to where the Rams choose. And then what do you do? Because that team was 1 win away from getting to the Super Bowl. Do they really need elite starters Or do they need to see if they can prolong their championship window by finding the quarterback of the future and having him learn under Stafford for a year? And I admit, when I say this, I admit I'm speculating, because there is also another possibility. One position that you could argue is a position of need, and a position the Rams would actually spend a first-round draft pick on, is wide receiver. USA Today reported the Rams did interview USC receiver Mekhi Lemon. So none of those are predictions, but they did interview the guy. NBA bloggers have had a lot of fun in the last 24 hours slapping around the Clippers' Benedict Mathurin, because Mathurin, who was acquired in the trade with Indiana when they sent Ivica Zubac away, Mathurin was absolutely scorching off the bench. He was lighting up people like the cartels in Puerto Vallarta. But in his first start, dude was 4 of 14 from the floor, 0 for 4 from three-point range. Now, I don't know why they seem to enjoy ripping Benedict that much. So be it. But let me ask you something if you're a Clipper fan. What if the guy is just amazing at creating shots against second-teamers? In other words, you put the guy up against the opponent's best defender, he gets locked down. You have him coming off the bench against other people's reserves, and all of a sudden, he's scoring at a clip that would make Lou Williams impressed. Now, understand, I could be guilty of drinking way too much opium after all the other bloggers dropped nothing but hate on Mathurin. But if you have a sixth man who can score at will against backups, you would take that. You would absolutely take it if you're a Clipper fan. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about what you see as the state of the Dodger rotation. And for that matter, do you anticipate the Chargers ponying up to keep either of their top 2 free agents? And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.